Welcome to Nationwide on the network service of the NTA. I am Lydia Odije Ochi. We're glad to have you join us once again. You can follow this news broadcast live on our website at nta.ng/live or any of our social media handles displayed on your screen. Let's kick off. The second extraordinary summit of ECOWAS Authority of Heads of State and Government on the political situation in Niger Republic is underway in Abuja, with a focus on prioritizing diplomatic negotiations. The bloc is looking for the situation in Niger following the military takeover of government in that country. The first meeting on the situation resolved and demanded immediate release of President Mohamed Bazoum and restoration of constitutional order. The ultimatum given to the military heads ended without yielding to the demands. The ECOWAS leaders are back to review the steps taken so far and come up with the next line of action.
The outcome of that meeting, as well as a memorandum by the president of the ECOWAS Commission on current socio-political development in Niger, will be presented during this summit. This will offer critical insight that will inform our collective decision-making process at this meeting. Today's summit provides a significant opportunity for meticulously reviewing and assessing the progress made since our last gathering.
Meanwhile, following a decree announced on national television Thursday, military leaders in Niger who seized power in a coup last month have formed a new government. The decree promulgates Prime Minister Ali Mahaman Lamine Zaini will lead the 21-member government with generals from the new military governing council heading the defense and interior ministries. The acting Comptroller General of Immigration, Caroline Wurola Adepoju, has undertaken an assessment visit to the Ilela border control post to ensure effective implementation of the federal government's directive to temporarily close land borders with Niger Republic in light of their ongoing political instability. The report.
By a new public relations officer, Nigerian Immigration Service, Dotun Aridegbe, indicates that the aim of the visit was to evaluate the level of compliance with the closure and reinforce the importance of interagency collaboration and intelligence sharing. During Wednesday's visit, the acting CGI expressed satisfaction with the degree of compliance observed at the Lela border control post and expressed appreciation to the officers for their diligence in upholding the closure directives. Acting CGI Adepoju also reiterated her earlier directive to all comptrollers of commands in states bordering Niger Republic, emphasizing the need for unwavering adherence to the closure measures. The visit was also an opportunity for the acting CGI to visit the Usman Danfodio Teaching Hospital, where she directly interacted with injured personnel, victims of a bandit assault at the Mamansuka checkpoint near Ilela, an event that resulted in the tragic loss of 2 lives. During the engagement, Adepoju extended her unwavering support and solidarity. She pledged to provide assistance to the grieving families during this trying period and made a firm commitment to ensuring that the sacrifices of personnel would not be in vain, as all necessary resources to bring the bandits to justice will be deployed. The acting CGI further engaged with and received assurances of collaboration and support of the Sokoto State Governor, Ahmed Aliyu, and the Sultan of Sokoto, His Eminence, Saad Abubakar III.
The vision of transforming the Nigerian Air Force into a resilient organ which effectively meets the air power demands of national and regional security is on course, with new strategies being mapped at the maiden chief of the air staff meeting with branch chiefs and commanding officers. Defense correspondent Naja'atu Tijani reports from the headquarters, Nigerian Air Force.
Marking the beginning of a new chapter for the Nigerian Air Force, branch chiefs, commandants of tri-service institutions, air officers commanding and commanders of direct reporting units are meeting with the Chief of the Air Staff with a strong emphasis on leadership, collaboration and modernization.
Accordingly, the focus of my command philosophy is to transform the Nigerian Air Force into an agile and resilient force that effectively meets the air power demands of national security in all operational environments.
Actionable consequences, and with the situation in Niger and West Africa, the Nigerian Air Force is set to be a stabilizing force in the West African sub-region, in line with the Chief of the Air Staff's vision of leveraging technology to enhance the overall service delivery of the force. Enhanced logistics and personnel welfare are also on the front burner, and to demonstrate this commitment, the Nigerian Air Force presents vehicles to 7 air warrant officers for their dedication to duty and 35 years of meritorious service. The Nigerian Air Force says this is only the beginning of greater horizons ahead. Naja'atu Tijani, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the Chief of Naval Staff, Vice Admiral Ikechukwu Ogala, has assured officers and ratings at the Nigerian Navy College Orienta of adequate training and infrastructure development in all its training formations across the country. He gave the assurance during his one-day working visit to that institution. Benson Osadebe reports that he also visited the State Governor, Dr. Alex Oti.
Inspection of the Guard of Honor signals commencement of the official visit. Next was the inspection of facilities, which included the administrative block, the Olympic-sized swimming pool, parade grounds, and other critical infrastructure designed to guarantee the welfare of officers and men of the institution. Security and development are critical to national development. To this end, the need to bridge the gap through training and retraining of officers and men of the Nigerian Navy College of Accounts and Finance, Orienta, has been re-emphasized by the Chief of Naval Staff on his one-day familiarization visit to the college.
No matter the amount of resources you have, other material resources, financial resources, if you do not have the right personnel, human resources, you are not going to achieve your objective.
At the government house, the issue of insecurity in the state was discussed. The Chief of Naval Staff gave Governor Alex Oti an award in recognition of his efforts at tackling insecurity in Abia State. They agreed to reinvigorate their synergy in overcoming the nagging security challenges in the state.
Security and development go together. Security. Launching of Operation Rush is in line with that development agenda.
The TAR continues to other parts of the southeast. From the Naval College of Accounts and Finance, Orienta, Benson Osadebe, NTA News.
The Commandant General of the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps, Ahmed Abubakar Audi, has given a marching order to zonal commanders and state commandants to stop attacks on oil pipelines and intensify patrols and surveillance of critical national assets in all formations across the country and the FCT. The Commandant General gave the order at the 2023 quarterly conference held in Abuja. Dennis Temple was there.
At a time when the nation's access on infrastructure, particularly oil installations, are confronted with security threats, the burden lies on security formations across the nation to brace up to the challenge and deal with the issue. This is why these officers drawn from across the Federation gathered at the headquarters to take far-reaching decisions on how to tackle the challenge.
We have realized that very recently, because of the the serious commitment of security agencies in the area of oil theft. So miscreants have changed direction. They are now into vandalization of other infrastructural assets. Like if you come to FCT, what they are professionally known in doing as criminals is to cut away our manholes.
The Commandant General said the command has taken proactive steps to deal with the emerging security threats through training and manpower development.
It requires a very scientific strategy to knit it in the board. And the strategy is nothing but the application of scientific intelligence coming together of all security agencies, including the citizens, to share information and to act very swiftly and profoundly to the intelligence.
This is the second quarterly conference held this year, 2023, in Abuja. Dennis Temple, NTA News.
The House of Representatives Ad Hoc Committee investigating employment racketeering in agencies of the federal government have resolved to issue a warrant of arrest on Kolo Haruna, a staff of the Asset Management Company of Nigeria, AMCON. This follows Kolo's failure to honor the invitation of the committee to appear for cross-examination at the public hearing for the third consecutive day. Kolo, a former staff of the Federal Character Commission, had appeared before the committee on Monday, where he admitted to collecting money from job seekers for employment, but alleged he was acting on instructions.
Come up with a lot of allegations. The committee adjourned and asked him to appear the next day. He didn't. We called on him to appear yesterday through his agency, AMCON. He's nowhere to be found. We hereby adjourn to write to the Speaker of the House of Representatives to issue a warrant of arrest in respect to Haruna Kolo and compel his appearance before this committee.
The committee's chairman, who also frowned at government agencies that have been avoiding the ongoing investigation, says there will be sanctions henceforth for any agency that fails to honor the invitation of the committee. The National Working Committee of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, has commenced a reconciliation process with aggrieved leaders and members in Kogi State. The effort is to ensure unity within the party ahead of the November 11 governorship election in that state. Timothy Yusuf has more.
It's a meeting of PDP officials from Kogi State with the National Working Committee at the party's headquarters in Abuja. The acting national chairman of the party, Umar Damagum, emphasized the need for the reconciliation as the PDP prepares to go into the campaign season ahead of the November 11 governorship election in Kogi, Imo and Bayelsa states.
We have already seen prospects in this coming election in Kogi. But despite that, I think the party needs to interact with you to see where challenges are so that we'll be able to hinge on that reconciliation before the election.
The meeting was attended by the PDP governorship candidate for Kogi State, Senator Dino Melaye, the PDP state chairman Sam Hotu, as well as other party faithful in the state. Timothy Yusuf, NTA News.
We now join Michael Olale in Lagos for more stories on Nationwide. Michael, it's over to you.
Thank you, Lydia. Nigeria is on the pathway to economic buoyancy alongside numerous job opportunities with the adoption and implementation of the blockchain technology. Experts were in Lagos to dialogue on the right framework and template for the emerging technology to thrive in the country for the benefits of all. Olumide Mutola reports.
As the leading digital economy in Africa, Nigeria is the first on the continent to adopt the blockchain technology after the federal government's approval of the policy on the 3rd of May 2023. To actualize government's intentions, which includes greater transparency, increased efficiency, secured transactions, among other benefits, is the brain behind this gathering of experts to draw up procedures across all sectors of the economy. Indeed, the dialogue wasted no time in bearing fruits with an assurance of billions of naira guaranteed to complement the country's gross domestic product if the policy is fully implemented.
According to PwC, by 2030, blockchain will add 1.76 trillion US dollars to the global GDP. And Nigeria, if we position ourselves well, we can get about 40 billion US dollars by 2030 from blockchain.
Submissions from other experts and stakeholders indicate that with the blockchain technology, Nigeria will retain its leadership role in Africa and build a prosperous ecosystem.
Application of blockchain technology into our everyday activities is achieved so that we can begin to use the practical use cases of blockchain technology beyond the hype and the misinformation and limited information that is out there.
And so having government institutions like NTA in conversation with the private sector to understand what the pain points are and what they actually need in terms of regulation is very important.
The successful conclusion of the conversation is a pointer that Nigeria will soon become the hub of blockchain technology in Africa. In Lagos, Olumide Guntola, NTA News.
A 44-year-old trader, Taye Abbas, has been arrested by the Lagos State Command of the Nigeria Police for using her niece, a 10-year-old niece, to peddle a drug known as Colorado in Agege area of Lagos. Amaka O reports.
Just as agencies of government are making frantic efforts to nip crime in the bud, perpetrators are coming up with dynamic tactics to actualize their nefarious acts.
She complained that she was being maltreated at home, and that's why she ran away at the first opportunity of running an errand. And while trying to take care of the child, to have a bath, to make her have a bath and have a change of clothes, it was discovered that drugs were hidden in her panties, and that prompted further questions. She revealed that it has been an ongoing occurrence with the girl.
This 10-year-old minor is the victim, whose aunt used to convey drugs attached to her private part to beat police checkpoints.
So the time that I want to bath, they now see drug in my body. So they now ask that how the drug come my body. And I tell her that it's the mommy that I'm living with that put it in my body.
Who is that mommy to you?
She's the sister of my mommy.
The suspect, Taye Abbas, a mother of two, is supposed to be an aunt and a guardian to the minor entrusted to her care.
Why were you invited?
She is my niece that is living with me. I often use her as a mule to carry drugs for me to sell. She got lost when I sent her on an errand and was picked by the police. In the process, they found drugs on her.
The suspect, authorities say, will be prosecuted accordingly as the victim has been reunited with her family. In Lagos, Amaka O, NTA News.
Do not forget to follow this news broadcast live on our website at nta.ng/live and on our other social media handles displayed on your screen for updates. Time for some messages, and when we return, Nationwide continues with Chine in our Enugu Network Center. Please stay.
Our commitment is to promote the greatest good for the greatest number of our people. On principle, we shall never falter. We will get out of this turbulence. And due to the measures we have taken, Nigeria will be better equipped and able to take advantage of the future that awaits her.
history, so either you know it or you don't.
My advice to the younger generation is that they should learn from what we have started and what we have left.
I did things that ordinarily I should not have been doing. What that meant was that I was working hard.
Whatever assignment you are given in life, put in your best.
The military years were a disaster.
Smoldering effects of all that is what we are trying to cure.
From dusk to dawn, 24 hours a day, NTA International is with you. In your living room, office, and everywhere, anywhere. We provide the company you desire in terms of balanced and up-to-date news, programs, and the best of entertainment. Tune in to DSTV channel 251, GoTV channel 91, Freeview channel 264, or live streaming via www.visiontv.co.uk. Application for iOS or Android. Intelsat 901/332.5 degrees east. You can also see us on Facebook and YouTube for quality content on the go. NTA International, Africa's window to the world.
For procurement of contract, partnership, promotion, publication, manufacturing, STBS, start times, lectures, ICT and training, production and sales, TV expos, events, local and international roadshows, exhibition, both local and international. We are at Area 11 Garkia, Abuja, opposite Abuja Geographical Information System, AGES, or visit our website www.ntatve.com.ng and our social media platforms, Twitter at NTATV Enterprise, Facebook NTATV Enterprise, Instagram at NTATV Enterprise, and these numbers on 070-3502-6056, 090-557180.
Thank you so much for staying on. Welcome to Enugu. Peace and security are essential for sustainable development of any society. The reason the Enugu state government will improve on its partnership with security agencies to achieve the present administration's lofty dream of economic prosperity and security of lives and property. Chika Ugu reports that Governor Peter Mba made this known during a courtesy visit by the General Officer commanding 82 Division of the Nigerian Army, Major General Hassan Taiwo Dada.
Acknowledging that the task of enthroning peace and security in the 5 southeastern states and Cross River states can only be realized with the support of the state's government and the people. The 38th General Officer commanding 82 Division Nigerian Army, Major General Hassan Taiwo Dada, explained that the familiarization visit is to appreciate the governor for the support he has continued to render to the army and to solicit for cordial relationship with the military in order to enthrone peace.
We can only succeed if we all work together. Governments of Enugu states, shared by you or led by you, have been doing so much to make sure all the security agencies and the services work together.
Governor Peter Mba, in appreciation to the Nigerian Army, urged them not to relent in the fight against insecurity despite the state is presently enjoying a relatively peaceful atmosphere. The governor expressed optimism that the 82 Division boss will bring his wealth of knowledge and experience to bear to help promote a peaceful environment that will attract investors and boost the state's economy.
We want to, on our part, assure you that as government, we are going to continue to collaborate with you and other security agencies to ensure that we maintain this peace that we're enjoying in Enugu State.
The team from the Nigerian Army left with the assurance that the state government will continue to support them in their bid to enthrone peace and unity in the state and country at large. In Enugu, Chika Ubu, NTA News.
As part of efforts to curb inflation and boost investment, the Central Bank of Nigeria recently hiked its interest rate by basic points. In reaction to this development, key players are lamenting the ripple effect as it portends a challenging cost environment. How then are investors faring under this current financial reality? Susan Eze tells us more.
The global economy over the last couple of years has experienced unprecedented downturns. Nigeria, not operating in isolation, has had her fair share of the economic instabilities. Hence, the various reforms aimed at returning the country to the path of economic recovery. Much as the ultimate aim of the monetary policy efforts of the government is to reduce inflation and promote economic growth, manufacturers in Nigeria have continued to lament increasing cost of production occasioned by factors such as increase in interest rates, multiple taxes, poor access to foreign exchange, and skyrocketing energy costs. All these, they say, have adverse impact on the cost of production.
I just give you an example. Last year, I have an order to supply 25 kg of processed yellow pepper, processed. After processing and packaging, and I go to a freight organization, they gave me their bill. If I add that bill to the cost of processing and what the buyers are buying, I will not make any profit. I'm losing. So these are some of these hurdles, tariff you pay. If government can remove some of these taxes and tariff we pay.
According to manufacturers, the challenging cost environment would echo as ripples across the pond, affecting productivity and stunting real sector growth. Beyond rising interest rates, stringent conditions for borrowing is also an issue.
A development bank issues you an approval for loan, then it requires you to go to a commercial bank to get a bank guarantee. The commercial bank in Nigeria is unable to understand the potentials of a business based on future forecasts. They're talking to a commercial bank on that you are your own.
The productive industry, key players have said, needs the favorable environment to thrive if Nigeria is to transit from a consuming to a productive economy. In Enugu, Susan Eze, NTA News.
And those are the stories from Enugu. We'll now rejoin Lydia in Abuja for the continuation of Nationwide.
Many thanks, Chinenye. The African Continental Free Trade Agreement is geared towards turning around of the continental economy from that of consumer to product and market-oriented economy. This is the view of participants at the ongoing 2023 African Bar Association Conference holding in Pretoria, South Africa. Dele Atumbi reports.
Participants identified consumer economy as a weak one and overdependent on others capable of turning such economy to a dumping ground. They are optimistic that the implementation of the African Continental Free Trade Agreement will make Africa great again. Advocacy on free movement of people and goods equally attracts the attention of the participants at the conference. It is the consensus view of participants at the African Bar Association Conference for African leaders to expedite action on the implementation of the African Continental Free Trade Agreement. During one of the sections of the conference, advocacy for justice for atrocity crimes resonates.
Justice for atrocity crimes, and when I talk about atrocity crimes, we are talking about genocide, crimes against humanity, war crimes, and yes, the crime of aggression. Justice for those have been so far limited to criminal prosecutions in international fora. Now ICC, the International Criminal Court, is a permanent forum for that. And in the context of that, there is a small place, so to speak, for civil remedies, that is, when the criminal justice is done and the judges convict someone, and the judges feel that, well, we can make reparation order against the convict. Can we do that? So that is what I mean by a small place for criminal, for civil remedy in the administration of justice for atrocity crimes. But is that enough?
The most important is that we keep the conversation ongoing, looking at Africa as a focal point of the world's development. Civilization started from Africa, okay, but we seem to be lacking behind. But Africa has woken up to that responsibility, and they want to take their rightful place globally.
The truth of the matter is that law underpins all of this. And I ask the question, how much effort has gone into training African lawyers to be in a position to advise African governments, advise African companies, advise African individuals on trade on the continent within the context of the African Continental Free Trade Area? Speaking from the Nigerian perspective, where at least I think I have knowledge of what is going on there, I don't think there has been, we have been deliberate or intentional enough with regard to ensuring that our lawyers are prepared, because this thing can't work if the lawyers and if the law is not aligned.
Participants also canvassed the need for legal practitioners to acquaint themselves with the legal instrument for the protection of continental interests. From Pretoria, Dele Atumbi.
And now back home, Sokoto State is one of the largest producers and exporters of onions in Nigeria. The Niger Republic is part of the routes used to export the commodity to other African countries. How has this business been affected by the military takeover in Niger Republic? Dalhatu Abdullahi is live in Sokoto with an update. Dalhatu, what can you tell us about the export of onions at the moment in view of the political uncertainties in neighboring Niger Republic?
Well, hello, you are welcome to Sokoto, the seat of the Caliphate, specifically at the main Kara market for onions, sales, business and export in the central city of Sokoto. However, Sokoto State is the largest producer of onions and garlics, and the significant percentage of these produce are being exported to other African countries and beyond via Niger route, that is Niger Republic. But however, producers, processors and marketers are counting a lot of export losses due to the military action in Niger Republic, which led to the closure of Niger-Nigerian border. With me is the President, National Association of Onion Producers, Processors and Marketers, Alhaji Aliu Isa Metasamu. President, how is
could not allow to access other countries through Niger? As I'm speaking to you, we have about 80 trucks of onion in Cotonou that are held for about 2 weeks. They were not allowed to move, neither are they allowed to return. For us, it's a total economic damage. In the axis of Lagos to Ghana, we lost about 900 million naira. While in this axis of Sokoto, Niamey, Niger to Ghana, we have lost closely about 54 trucks, which the value is around 1,232 million naira.
Okay, what measures are you taking now to see that you reverse these damages?
Currently, yesterday I had a report 2 of our trucks has been withheld in Côte d'Ivoire border, which I discussed with my president of West African Cross-Border Association, and I quickly sent a way bill telling the authority of Côte d'Ivoire that this onion is from Nigeria, it's not from Niger Republic. And through that intervention, the onion was allowed to pass to access Côte d'Ivoire market. But it is a total loss to us.
Okay. What do you think now governments of these countries, particularly in West Africa, can do for you?
We are calling on the ECOWAS head of state or head of government. We should look, we are all African, it's one market, it's good when there is any problem, we should solve this problem amicably. I am calling on our governments of ECOWAS not to allow foreign interference to say that we must use military intervention. These people in Niger Republic, they are our brothers, and the main aim of ECOWAS is economic integration. Economic integration. We shouldn't forget about that. We shouldn't dwell in politics.
Thank you very much. Well, back to Lydia in Abuja for continuation of news nationwide.
Dalhatu, I'm still staying with you. How much has this situation affected the price of onions?
Okay, President, now the Nigerians want to know through NTA, how did this problem affect the pricing of onions currently in the market?
Before the military intervention in Niger Republic, onion was, even in Nigeria, was around 30,000 naira. But I'm speaking to you, onion is being sold between the rate of 40 to 45,000 naira in Sokoto, while in Lagos it is about 70,000 naira. And when you go to Ghana, Ghana are selling their onion. They are even complaining. I had a report that Ghana people are complaining on the rise in the price of onion. They are buying it for 11 million Ghana cedis, which is equivalent to about 90,000 naira of our money.
President, for our producers here who cultivate and sell in the market here in Sokoto State, how is the price affected?
The price is affected in the sense that because of our geographical position in Nigeria, we are very close to our neighboring countries, so we do a lot of export. So we are disfranchised, if I may use the word, to be able to access this alternative market so that we can go for higher gain for our commodity.
Are producers now at a loss?
Producers are really at a loss because this onion that you are seeing currently is supposed to be on its way to Niamey. I supply Niamey about 50 trucks weekly. Despite their onion production, Nigeria supply Niamey 50 trucks of onion weekly. But I don't really know what is going on there with the citizens of Niger Republic.
Okay, thank you, President. Back to Lydia in Abuja for continuation of news nationwide.
Thank you very much, Dalhatu, for that update on onions. Thank you so much. Moving on now. Nigeria is working on a national support framework for flood forecasting and early warning, which targets reducing the potential loss of agricultural investment and property to flood disasters and improving the safety of lives in flood-prone areas. This is the agenda of a stakeholders workshop in Abuja on water resources, decision support and flood early warning systems for Nigeria. Oluseyi Adiagbo has details.
Nigeria's devastating experience of flooding in 2022 affected 33 states, displacing more than 1.4 million persons, destroying livestock, about 100,000 hectares of farmland, with over 600 deaths recorded. And the World Bank estimates its economic damage to be about $6.68 billion.
The negative impact of flood will be on the decline by promoting better understanding of flood risks and ensuring that the appropriate mitigation measures are developed.
Focus on irrigated agriculture will also be more pronounced, but it is not enough to have this in place when we are not able to confront challenges that may come from droughts or floodings.
As flooding keeps challenging Nigeria's transformation drives, especially on the agricultural food system, the nation's water users, policymakers, and other relevant actors want to use this workshop to strengthen anticipatory action through flood forecasting and early warning systems to mitigate the flood impact in Nigeria.
First of its kind in Nigeria, developing this AWARE platform. And importantly, we are trying to test that in specific state with all the actors by next year to ensuring that the government have early action protocol before the disaster happen.
With the overall objective on sensitization, participants there have been sharing optimism of capacities to build resilience, mitigate and manage flood in the best ways. In Abuja, Oluseyi Adiagbo, NTA News.
Benue is an agrarian state, prides itself as the food basket of the nation because farmers produce crops such as yams, maize, groundnuts, tomatoes, and several others in large quantities. However, post-harvest losses remain a challenge threatening food security in the state, as most of the crops produced end up wasted. Charles Abba is at the popular railway market in Makurdi for a situation report. Hello, Charles. Tell us what's going on.
Hello, Lydia, and a warm welcome to Makurdi. I am standing right at the popular railway market where agricultural produce are being sold. You will agree with me that Benue State is actually the food basket of the nation because it is endowed with arable land fit for the production of variety of crops. In Benue State, for instance, the largest agricultural produce in the state are yams. Yams, according to statistics, farmers of yams continue to experience post-harvest losses. The statistics states that 80% of farmers continue to experience post-harvest losses amounting to 20 to 49% of their harvest every year. This is indeed a quantum loss. And I have with me here a professor from the University of Agriculture, which is Joseph Sawataka University. And he is the national president of the Yam Farmers Association and marketers as well as processors, Professor Simon Itwange. Professor Itwange, the post-harvest losses being experienced by yam farmers in the state is in quantum, is in a large amount. Why is this continuing?
Yeah, it's not only yam, but several agricultural produce tend to suffer post-harvest losses as a result of lack of post-harvest infrastructure to be able to preserve, process, and store some of this produce into value-added products.
Okay. Thank you very much, Professor. So I now hand over to the studio for the continuation of the program live.
Thank you, Charles. We wish we had more time to talk to you, but let's go on. Thank you so much. Connectivity is important. Life gets difficult and complicated when the means of connecting is no longer smooth. So, the impact of the collapsed Olodo Bridge in Ibadan following a downpour a couple of weeks ago has continued to take its toll on residents and commuters who now ply alternative roads. Already, residents are complaining of that area. Over now to Omokainde Ibari for details.
2 weeks after the collapse of Olodo Bridge, the state government have been able to come up with an alternative route for the residents of this area for them to ease the vehicular movements. How have the residents and commuters been coping with the developments?
This project, this contract should not be given to local contractor.
I now hand over to my colleague at the Villa for the continuation of the second extraordinary summit of ECOWAS heads of state and government here in Abuja. Over to you.
Great membership, dedication, and patriotism. And recognize the danger facing our dear neighbor, Niger.